Welcome to the Five Things Podcast. My name is Sean V. Martin.
And I'm Alisha Pez.
Welcome back, Alisha Pez. We
Thanks.
have some follow-up that we need to take care of.
Sure. Let's do
I
it.
believe that we made a number of Emmy predictions.
Yeah, we did.
And I didn't keep track of where we were
won
right.
everything.
We were right.
We actually won the Emmys.
We won 3 Emmys between the two of us.
Right. It's pretty incredible.
And I would like to thank the
Emmy Academy.
Emmy Academy?
It's a thing.
Who votes on the Emmys?
I don't know. The people.
The people?
Sure.
We the people?
No.
I don't remember getting my ballot.
Whatever. We did a great job at predicting the Emmys, and as we wanted, Homeland won all.
I think the most important thing to take away from
Yes.
the Emmys is that lead actor, lead actress, and best drama series all went to Homeland.
Because it's an incredible show.
So
Best
Ron
freaking show.
and the rest of you who may have Homeland on the back burner,
Push it to the front.
put it on the front burner. Season 2 starts on September 30th, which is today.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 starts today. So exciting.
Yeah.
And like we said last time, the way it ends, have no idea how
No
season 2 is
clue.
going to go.
I've been
It's-
avoiding all spoilers. Haven't watched a thing.
Yeah, I've
read
done
anything.
a good job. The trailer for season 2 that I featured on Five Things was
much
completely
it.
enigmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, good job, us. Well done. High five.
Modern Family won Best Comedy.
Yeah. Good for it.
I'm fine with that. Like, I'm glad it was that instead of
2.5 Men or something,
The
which
Big
wasn't
Bang
even up for
Theory.
it. Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I like
Right.
Modern Family.
I do.
Still would have liked to see Louis or Parks and Rec even on
Yeah,
that nomination
agreed.
list. But
Whatever.
next year,
Maybe.
when Leslie runs for Congress,
Mm-hmm. Sure. I don't think she's... I don't know. We'll see.
what? That's not right for her character?
No, of course not. She loves being so involved in seeing the effects of all of her hard work, and she wouldn't really see it as much if she was in Congress, even if she's helping more people. Anyway.
But her idol's like Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Whatever. Who cares?
I do.
Oh,
You don't want to
okay.
talk about the future of a fictional politician?
No.
She's
We
like
have quite a list.
she's like my favorite politician, and she's not even real.
Yes, this is true.
Oh,
She's a great local councilwoman.
right. That's what she is now. There's value in that. Even the people in Washington in the season premiere told her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So last week we talked about the iPhone. Our comments
My
were
ex-iPhone.
surprisingly bereft of
Yeah.
negativity. So thank you for not like attacking us.
There were just a few people who were like, I like my iPhone more, and there were others who were like, Android's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for being calm about it. Much appreciated.
Did you notice who didn't say anything about it?
Carter?
Carter said Sean's voice sounds deeper, which I will tell you why. And you didn't hear this, but I told you I lost the first bit of the podcast.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had to record something at the beginning that was like, hey, it's Sean. I'm going to cut right in the middle of a sentence. Here's what you missed. That recording of me saying that was recorded at 4:30 in the morning before I went to work one day. So it's
Oh.
like, hey, this is Sean V. Martin. And I even tried to make sure my voice didn't sound like that, and it still sounded like
That's
that.
4:30 in the morning. That's what happens.
It's 4:30 SVM versus like middle of the afternoon SVM.
right.
So anyway, thank you for those of you who did not jump all over us for any negative things we may have said about
Right.
iPhone or etc.
But there was one major
But
problem.
actually, we left out our single largest gripe about the entire thing.
Well, I guess I left out my largest gripe. You didn't have one. You didn't have to deal with it, Sean.
This was kind of the final thing that was a deal breaker for me.
I really missed having a back button.
I-
Any of you who have a Droid phone know how much you use the back button. It's the best thing ever that's existed on a phone. It's just back. And the iPhone has nothing. It has like you're in an app, and then it has the home button, which is dumb. That's all I can say about it, is dumb.
I think when I started using Android on my Incredible, the first thing that I really grasped was how useful the back button was. Like, there's a button that does exactly what the iPhone button does,
The
that
home
takes
button.
you back to the home. But basically, I never navigated my phone that way.
I do now because I used an iPhone, so I'll use the home button more than I did before, but I still, most of the time when I use it, it's by accident. Like, and I get annoyed with myself because I'm like, oh, I just wanted to go back.
Just
I didn't
wanted to go
wanna-"
back.
Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced the Android system, basically what the back button does is it doesn't just necessarily step you through pages in a certain app.
Right.
For instance, like if I'm in my Twitter app and I see a YouTube link, I can go to the YouTube, I can click it, it'll open the YouTube app, and then I can look at the app, look at the video or whatever. If I hit back, it won't take me out of the app, or it won't take me back to the main page of YouTube. It will take me back to Twitter.
Yeah.
Because it knows that was where I came from. So that's incredibly useful, and it feels very intuitive for someone who uses an internet browser a lot for the back button to just go back to the last function.
Yeah, whatever you were doing last, it's very helpful. I'm glad
I was explaining it. I was explaining this thing to this kid that I work with who might be listening. So, hi, Mike.
Hello.
He said he doesn't have a smartphone. His parents have iPhones, and he's never really. And some of his friends have Android phones, and he's just like played with them and understood that there's a basic difference, but it's never. That whole thing has never really occurred to him. And I said, it must be like whichever one you have, you just get used to it. So if you've never used Android and you're not used to having the back button, maybe
you can exist without it.
It's not jarring at all.
But when you have it, it's so useful and so helpful, and it's just I enjoy having it back. Having one of my biggest
reducing everything to the single button, really.
It's really simple.
I was actually worried that going from the Incredible to the GS3, losing the search button was going to be a problem for me, because I use the search button constantly.
But I mean,
it was really nice to have a hard-coded, like, this is the button you hit to search whatever app you're in.
Right.
And most of the time, the search thing is in the same place anyway. It's usually in the top right, like an internet browser.
Right.
So I'm used to that, and it's fine. My problem with that on the GS3 is that the screen is so big that I need to use my other hand to press it, because it's too far away from my left thumb to hit. Ugh.
I'm often defeated with my tiny hands on that giant screen.
Yeah, and I have big hands, and I still can't hit the top right corner with my left thumb.
Top left corner to pull down like notifications. I'm always like reaching.
You give yourself a hand cramp.
A little bit. So there was one other complaint not brought to our attention by a commenter.
It wasn't a complaint.
It was more just like a, hey, good job getting on 4G.
Yeah. Ricari pointed out that the Verizon salesperson, and he's probably quite right, the Verizon salesperson was probably pushing a phone that was capable of 4G because the 3G network is overloaded and has been for some time. So it may have, for him, it might not have been like Android versus iPhone. It was just like, let's sell you a phone that can be on LTE because 3G is done. We're done with 3G now. So that was a good point. Thank you, Will.
Well, so one of the things I do love to do on my phone that I'm glad I bought my Droid phone for is actually I had purchased an app on our Droid Incredible, and it was the Food Network app, which I love.
And
I have all sorts of foodie apps. Yes. And
my belly loves that you love.
Yeah. We're working on our new menu at the cafe where I work, and when I say we, I mean me. Because I do it all myself.
It's like one of your jobs.
It is my job. And so tonight I'm going to have dinner, and I get to use my phone. I use my phone all the time to cook. It's like the best thing. And I actually love having the giant phone that we have. Even though the iPhone was nice and small, I can do a lot more with my recipes and checking things out on my phone. So tonight we're going to try a white bean tuna salad with fresh parsley or something. It's a Giada recipe, but I'm working on it.
It's a what?
Giada. She's one of the Food Network chefs.
Is that a first name?
Yeah, Giada. I don't know. She's like Italian. She does everyday Italian. I actually think she's obnoxious. Of all the Food Network personalities, her and Paula Deen, probably my two least favorite.
I know who Paula Deen is.
Well, how could you not? I mean, her smile is on every cooking magazine at some point.
She has her own magazine.
Yes, and she has her own magazine. I do not like Paula Deen.
I don't think
her recipes are full of butter.
When they put together a new cover for her magazine, I'm pretty sure they don't take a new picture of her.
They just pull one from the millions.
It's the same one. There's just one. Oh. And they're sometimes like maybe around winter they do like a Christmas episode that will have her whole family, and they all look like that.
It's very true.
It's really disturbing.
Yeah. So I'll make us tuna salad. Last night we sampled a ham and Gouda sandwich with an apricot Dijon. Nobody can steal that idea. That's mine.
It was so good.
It was pretty darn good. And I also made an artichoke spread, which I'll sample tonight with a vegetarian like flatbread sandwich.
So who's hungry?
Yeah, anyway, I'm hungry. I bet our cats will be when I open the cans of tuna.
Right.
Oh my gosh. They'll just like sprint over to me.
Our cats go crazy at the sound of the can opener.
Yeah, even when I'm opening like beans or something completely different, they're like, I'm in.
Our cats
what is
are
it?
pretty quiet most of the time.
Yes.
It's very rare that one of them will start like crying or meowing. As soon as you touch a can, it's just like,
what is that? I want it. Yeah. And our one cat, I'm firmly convinced that he thinks that he is better than me. I don't really know how else to say it. I've come to the conclusion that Aang, our fat cat, has a completely different ideal for the hierarchy in this family than is real. Okay? I think Aang believes that the hierarchy of this household goes Shawn, Aang, Alisha, Appa. Which is ridiculous because he's just so...
Well, wait, why do you think that?
Well, first of all, because Appa's
give me
my
all
cat.
of your observable evidence.
Well, I don't know. He likes you more.
Yeah.
And he walks around like he owns the place. Maybe he thinks he's first, and we're just there.
No, I think he defers to me.
He does defer to you. He does not really defer to me. When he wants affection, he goes to you, not
yeah,
me.
I think like a year ago we realized all of a sudden
We each have our own cat.
We each have our own cat.
Appa's my cat, right? And I think that's the other reason he thinks he's above me in the hierarchy, because I'm friends with Appa, and you can't do that. You just can't.
He's the creature.
He's the Omega cat. Isn't that what it is when you're the last one? He's the Omega cat. And if I'm aligned with the Omega cat,
and
clearly...
Appa actually was. He was like the runt in his litter.
Oh, yeah. He's the tiniest. Well, he was a stray.
Yeah.
So he definitely was never as well fed and nurtured as a tiny cat. But anyway, so Appa's clearly the Omega cat, and because of my alignment with Appa, Aang thinks that he's above me, which is untrue entirely, because the hierarchy actually in this household goes me, Shawn, Aang, Appa.
I'm not going to argue.
Alisha wears a pants.
Yeah, when we got our two cats that we have now, we had a third cat.
We did.
We
Sergeant Pepper.
got a cat from someone that your brother knew.
Yes.
And his name was Snoopy, and we renamed him Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah.
And when we brought the kittens home, and this, I used to have a video of this on YouTube, but it's been gone for a very long time.
They were such tiny cats.
They tell you when you add a new cat or whatever to another cat's environment, what you should do is put them in separate rooms and then like let them alone for a couple hours so that they can like smell each other through the door, and then like open the door and let them introduce. And we did it kind of fast,
right?
And I don't think it really would have mattered because they weren't at each other's throats or anything,
right?
But it was really clear that Sarge and Aang were both alphas.
Yeah.
And like they had this like bristly tail, like circling.
Even as a kitten,
yeah.
Aang was like,
at this point, Aang was tiny.
Cat. Yeah. Appa was tinier.
And
Tiny.
when Appa met
was just
him,
like, I don't care about you guys. Whatever you fight, I'm just gonna hang out here with Alisha.
Their first interaction on camera was Appa walked straight up to Sarge, poked his nose into his nose, and then turned and walked away.
He was like, "Hello, I pay you some homage, and I'm gone."
Your tribute, sir.
Yes.
And so
anytime you need to beat me up, just come on over.
Aang and Sarge had this weird like fighting relationship every so often. Like they
were fine.
Most of the time they were fine, but they didn't really get along.
Right.
Aang and Appa always seemed to get along.
They fight, but they're like cats who always fight. You know, it's what they do.
And then in the summer of 2010,
which I don't know if anybody knows, that's the summer we got married, guys.
Alisha and I got married.
We, got married. We prepared for our wedding, and then we left for our wedding, like for our honeymoon. And our friend Missy was taking care of our cats, and we were like, haha, don't kill any of them. Haha, because that's what you say. That's just what you say in like a joking way. Don't kill our cats on our honeymoon. Don't kill any of our pets. Anyway, we got a call while we were there on Wednesday that our cat died.
Missy did not kill our cat,
no,
to be clear.
She did not. He had a heart attack, which is unusual for a 3-year-old cat, but he had a heart attack. Totally not her fault. And at this point, it's just hilarious because our cat died on our honeymoon. How depressing is that? And she felt so bad. I think she was sadder than we were.
She was definitely more sad than we were. Oh my gosh.
We were like, it's okay. I mean, he wasn't the best. Like, he wasn't a cat.
We actually had a lot of problems with Sarge.
He went to the vet multiple times. Anyway.
He was very sick.
Yes.
A lot of the time. He was allergic to our air conditioning.
Or something. Yes.
Every time we would have the air conditioning on over the summer, he would develop hives and bumps and
something in the air was not good for the cat. Anyway. So he had a heart attack, and yeah, we got a call at our hotel on our honeymoon that our cat died
out of the country.
Home. Yeah, exactly. We're down on an island, being sunny and beautiful, and we get a call from home that our cat died, and we're like, well, we found a pretty cool cat here.
We found multiple cats.
Yeah, we
there.
did. There are a few cats at the resort.
We didn't bring any of them home.
No, but they were cute.
Yeah, so when we got back, we only had 2 cats.
Yeah.
From then on.
Yeah, exactly.
And both of us noticed a huge change in Aang's personality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just changed into a different cat.
Yeah, he's the alpha cat now. He's in charge, man.
Yeah, he wasn't, it's not that he wasn't friendly before, but he like turned it up to 110%.
He's like, I will be the most affectionate cat.
I tell people all the time that he acts like a dog, and
Yeah.
I really feel like he does. He meets me at the door.
Well, yeah, so does Appa.
He does this thing where we have high chairs in the kitchen that we sit in at our table, and he will jump up on the seat of one of the chairs, and then I'll walk into the kitchen. Actually, he'll do it when I'm already in the kitchen. And he'll put his paws up over the back of the chair, and then when I walk over to the chair, he'll climb up my chest with his front paws and like put his front paws around my neck like he's giving me a hug, which dogs totally do.
Yeah. He likes to give
I've
hugs.
seen my uncle's dog do that. It's very adorable.
It is.
He doesn't bark yet. I've been trying to train him.
No, I hope you don't. That would be bad.
I did kind of teach him to fetch when we lived at our old place.
Yeah.
I could throw stuff down that hallway and he would bring it back.
So would Sarge. Sarge played fetch
Sarge
really well.
would do it. I haven't been able to get him to do it here ever. We don't have a hallway.
Right. I mean, we do, but no.
This is not a hallway.
It has too many obstacles in it to be a real hallway.
I don't understand why Appa, every time I'm walking towards him from one end of the house, he feels very threatened and he needs to run to the other side of the house. He's like, what did I do?
And then he just sprints away.
And I really think if we had a hallway that went around all of these rooms and it was just on the outside of them, that would not happen.
Right. For whatever reason, though. He's a scaredy cat. Like, you know, you've heard that phrase, right? That defines Appa.
Appa coined that phrase.
He did?
Yeah.
Him personally? Yes. I didn't know he could speak.
He wrote a book.
I don't believe that.
That's totally true. That's what happened.
Okay.
So,
oh, man.
How many pets did you have when you were a kid?
A few. 2. We had, let's see, the majority of time.
We didn't have any when I was really little.
From, like, I would say my entire childhood. Probably from, like, when we were at my old house, which we moved out of when I was 4. So we had to have had the dog before that and the cat. We had 1 dog and 1 cat. We had Samantha, the giant Himalayan cat.
Okay.
When I say giant, she was actually very dainty, but she was a Himalayan, so she had lots of fur.
Right.
And then we had Elena. She was a Springer Spaniel, and she was a very good dog. And as I said, we had those from probably when I was like 2 or 3 up until I was in middle school. And then, oh my gosh, Samantha lived like forever. I'm assuming she's dead at this point, but I don't know.
What happened to her?
When my parents split up while I was in high school, and the dog had already died. He died while I was in middle school. But my dad ended up getting the cat, and she was a giant gross mess. And he couldn't take care of her anymore. And apparently there was this little old lady at the Humane League who was just like, I would love a Himalayan who needs extra care. And so he gave our cat to that old lady, which, I mean, me and my brothers are both firmly convinced that is a giant lie. And my dad just had her put to sleep at the vet. But, you know.
He just let her out the back door and kicked her in the ass.
No. We know he took her to the Humane League. And he says he found a delightful old lady who just wanted this cat. That was a...
It's like the equivalent of taking her to the farm.
Right, exactly. And I'm pretty sure she's dead. But I don't know.
Your dad euthanized the cat.
Yes. Well, she was... Yeah, she didn't, like, take care of herself. She was older anyway. And... So
There's no way that cat's still alive.
Right. So Samantha, she was a Himalayan. We had her for a while, and we had Elena. We ended up replacing Elena while I was not like once she died, like 2 years later. We just replaced her. Yeah. We actually did get another Springer Spaniel who we had for about 3 years, and then she had epilepsy, which means she had seizures all the time.
Yeah, that's no fun.
And she had to be put down because at the end of it, she was dumb as a box of rocks.
Ew.
They were really, I mean, it's epilepsy. She had seizures, and, like, that can do brain damage. So she couldn't, like, see very well anymore. She'd just, like, run into things. Anyway.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was very sad. We ended up putting her to sleep, and then my mom got Lindsay.
Oh, I know Lindsay.
You did. So we had Springer Spaniels, and then my mom decided to get a Cavalier Spaniel, which is smaller and much more adorable and tiny. She was very cute. My dad did not want another dog. We're firmly convinced that they split up because of this dog, regardless.
Well, at least it wasn't the kids.
No, exactly. She brought home a cat, and then she brought home a dog like a month later, and then another dog like another month later.
And then a pig.
And 2 horses, you know. By the 3rd dog, we're pretty sure it was just like, honey, I'm done. And so she actually still had Lindsay until like a year ago, or until like a month ago. Anyway, yeah, and now my mom lives with a menagerie at her house.
Right.
And I'm glad I don't live in that menagerie. She has like 4 cats and 3 dogs and 5 horses. I don't love animals that much. I mean, I do.
Oh my God.
But not that much.
I don't at all.
Yeah.
I don't think the people in my family who you could call animal lovers would ever do that.
Right. Yeah, but
Just
and my
live in
older
a
brother
house
is like
full of
becoming
animals.
the same way. He just came back from Georgia. Took him about 7 years to get his bachelor's. Woot woot.
We don't need to talk about that.
Anyway, he came back from Georgia and is living at home with my dad and brought his menagerie home, which is 2 dogs and a cat. And
Oh,
my
I didn't
dad
know
was
he had
like,
a cat too.
Yeah, apparently he found a cat outside where he was working.
He
And
found
just
a cat
couldn't.
in his house.
Yeah, yeah. He found a cat outside where he was working and adopted it. My mom, I just rubbed off on Andrew, and he will now take in just animals that people
Really?
have. Yeah.
That
One of
actually
my
really
mom's
surprises
dogs,
me.
One of my mom's dogs that she just found on the side of the road and was like, "All right, I guess you're mine now." I don't get it. And it's Kizzy, who is so annoying.
Yes.
Anyway.
No comment.
So now my dad, who had like a blessedly pet-free life and a clean house, has 2 dogs and a cat living with him because that's where Andrew came with his pets. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Offline.
Yes. So, didn't you have I don't know. Does anybody else have pets? Who has awesome family pets?
Who are you talking to?
The audience, like them.
Oh, okay.
Don't you want to ask them to tell their stories about their family pets?
You want to ask me about my family pets?
Shawn, have you had family pets? I always
Okay.
forget that you even had pets.
So when I was really, really little, we had a dog.
Okay.
And then after my sister was born, my parents decided that having the dog in the house with an infant and a toddler was no longer a good idea. So they gave the dog to my grandmother, my dad's mother. And what was that dog's name? Teddy. Dog's name was Teddy. Like probably 20% of dogs are 10%.
Yeah.
And it was a really good dog. And whenever we would go over there, I really liked the dog. My sister was terrified of the dog. Mm-hmm. It was the nicest dog in the world. She was terrified for some reason. I don't know. She was really scared of dogs for a really long time. So I don't, when I was little, I don't remember having the dog at all. We have like pictures where we have a gate and there's a dog and there's me, but I don't remember that at all. So my other grandma, my mom's mom,
GJ,
had we call her GJ. She always had cats, and I would go over to spend a weekend at her house like 2 or 3 times a year, usually over the summer and then maybe like in the winter sometimes. And I would just play with her cats like all day. That is like endless entertainment for a 10 or 11-year-old kid. And she had this one cat, she still does, named MJ. That's for Michael Jordan, not Michael Jackson. She's a big Bulls fan. Didn't we actually talk about that on
recently?
the one?
I don't know why.
Because I was talking about how I wasn't into sports except for basketball when I was a little kid because she liked basketball. Mm-hmm. And that was like my parents weren't into sports at all. So that was like my only line to any kind of sport. So anyway, she had this cat, MJ, and he was obsessed and would go nuts with the DVD tray when it would eject and retract.
Right.
He would you could for an hour push this thing in and out, and this cat would be mindlessly
just watching
entertained.
it the whole time.
He would jump up and like try and paw at it to try and grab it. And like he would sit perfectly still until it would move. And then as soon as it would move, and it's only in motion for like a second and a half, he would just go crazy and try and get it. And then it would be done. And then he'd sit back and just stare at it again. And
I don't think our cats are that crazy for anything.
I loved that about MJ, and so I would bug my mom. Like, every summer, my sister and I would both bug our mom. Like, we're home for the summer. Let's get a cat. We're home for the summer. Let's get a cat. Let's get a cat. And finally, and my mom was like, I'm going to be the one taking care of it. And we're like, it's a cat.
Yeah.
It's not that. They're easy. Cats are easy.
Yeah, it's not a dog.
So the summer that I was 15, I think my sister she would have been 13. We finally got a cat. Its name at the Humane League was Marisol. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I remember that. We renamed it Tiger Lily. Actually, when you go to get a cat at the Humane League, pretty much always, they put you in a little room with the cat, and they're like, here, just get to know each other. And then, like, you look at the cat for 10 minutes as it does really cute things and convinces you to buy the cat.
Right.
That's the whole point of the room.
Duh.
And at one point, my mom was like, we are not going to name her Marisol. And my sister and I looked at each other and both go, Tiger Lily, at the same time.
That's weird.
It was weird. My sister and I were really close when we were teenagers. And we looked at each other and both said Tiger Lily. And we were like, okay,
Deal.
well, it's Tiger Lily, which is like the name that
and
you
it's
give
like the
10%
cat.
of. Okay, well, hold on. So we took the cat home. And for the summer, the cat lived with me in my room. And if you wanted to come see the cat, you had to come to my room. Which was a little awkward for a 15-year-old boy for many reasons. But anyway, she would poop in my closet. We had the litter bin in there, and she would.
No, she just pooped in your closet.
No, she just pooped in the closet on the floor.
I like the way you said that.
It was
that
really
was great.
gross. And so after the summer, after 2 months or 3 months, she was able to roam the house, and she loved our family. She loved my girlfriend, who would spend a lot of time in our house. Mm-hmm. Anyone else, she freaking hated.
Yeah.
And she would arch her back.
Ongoing.
Her tail would go bristle. She would hiss. She would spit. She's a very angry cat, except for the people who lived there.
Yep.
Then when I moved out and went to college, she decided to forget about me.
Yep, she did.
So now every time I go back, I get the same treatment.
Yeah. She doesn't remember you at all.
It's a bunch of hissing. Like, sometimes...
I actually would say out of all the cats in the world, I probably dislike yours the most.
She's not my cat, to be clear.
She's just so mean. She doesn't give you a chance. She's judgy.
What's weird is, like, our cats will come meet you at the door.
Yeah, they love people.
I've seen a lot of cats that will just run away. Mm-hmm. Tiger Lily normally doesn't leave.
She just doesn't even move. She's like, who are you? Why are you in my environment?
She's doing what our cat is doing right now. She'll just curl up on the couch. And if I arrive and I'm like, hey, Mom and Dad, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, oh, there's the cat. And I'll like sit down beside her. She won't do anything. I'll put my hand close to her and I'll just hear this.
She'll just growl at you. She growls. Cats shouldn't growl.
And then if I actually try and touch her, I'll get a nice
gosh. I've never tried to touch her. She's scary. There was a little while in the one semester of college when we first got together that I kind of lived at your place 2 nights a week. It was closer to where I worked. And my roommate and I were just kind of weird. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Her roommate had hats.
That is enough.
That's like all I remember about her.
I saw her the other day, actually. She went to the show at the Fulton, looking fancy. Regardless.
Did she have a hat?
She might have had a hat. They're like Easter hats that you would wear when I think I could have seen one of the hats on myself when I was 7, and my mom put it on me for like a holiday.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was kind of strange for
but I lived at your house
senior.
For a little while, like a few nights a week, and still never adjusted ever. When I came across her in the house, I would just be like around her, like try and inch my way past her without her noticing. I mean, I shouldn't have to tiptoe around a cat.
You actually didn't have to.
You did, or else she would attack.
When did she ever attack? She didn't have front claws.
I don't know. I was afraid of her. Regardless.
She's never bitten anyone.
Mm-hmm. So you think.
I don't think she would have attacked you. I'm pretty sure you could have walked right into her face and she would have just eventually run away.
Probably. I forgot about our current cat. Like my family's cat. Aside from the ones that my mom has, which I've never lived with. I mean, my mom got those cats when she lived at her own place. But we did have one cat after Samantha died that my mom had brought home. She found it at like a horse show, which I thought was weird. She says she found it. I think she just took it from somebody. Like they gave it to her because they didn't want it. And she was like, oh, but I couldn't leave it. Anyway.
She's like that lady at the Humane League.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a Persian.
Yes, exactly. She's part Siamese. I don't know if anybody who's listening has ever had one. They're apparently the loudest cats ever.
Yeah, what's with that?
They're really, really communicative. So Gemma, her name is Emma.
The first time I encountered this cat, I must have just laughed for 20 minutes.
She meows all the time. She is so loud. It's so annoying. We have silent cats, and I love it because Emma was like an experience I do not care to repeat. She's just a loud freaking cat, and she actually lives with my little brother in Pittsburgh now. And
she just does it for no reason.
Yeah, she pretty much just meower.
It's not like she needs food or water or something. Right. She just meows.
Meow. Meow. She and Adam are like very close though. He's nice. Her cat. And yeah,
he lives in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Like in the city.
Yeah.
And Oakland. She got out.
Yeah. He found her again.
And
somehow
she didn't escape. I said, if one of our stupid cats got out, I don't think we'd...
Oh, they wouldn't survive.
It would be like a 1% chance of these cats getting back here.
Yeah, Appa has been on the streets. He was a stray, but he's too small. And Aang.
So you said Appa's been on the streets, and I picture like he's got a leather jacket on, he's smoking a cigarette,
switchblade in the pocket. Appa's been on the streets, all right.
Aang's just been pampered.
Yeah, Aang's been pampered his whole life. He was just like a home kitten who nobody wanted.
It's like the Prince and the Pauper.
Yeah.
Those are our two cats.
Appa just needs like a chunk torn out of his ear, and then it would be perfect.
Right. Instead, he's just got hair missing from the back of his neck and his tummy.
So sad. Our cat doesn't like to have hair anywhere. He just tears it out.
Sure he does. It's just one area, his belly.
Yeah, he doesn't like it there.
He's got a very pink belly.
He does. Aang is a furry cat. He's content with the amount of fur he has. He's staring at me now. Aang has the most soulful eyes, everybody. He's got like girly eyelashes, and he'll look up from under them at you with this sad face that just makes you want... Oh, it's adorable.
I'll take a picture of him right now and put it into the video so that you all can experience
the cute. Because he's adorable, but it's just such a sad face. You should turn on the light.
I gotta get him to look at me.
Aang?
Look at me.
With your sad face. Look at...
Well, it's perfect. There we go.
Sad?
It's very sad.
We don't know why. I mean, obviously this cat doesn't have emotions, but yet we like to personify him like he's a person.
I do it all the time.
Oh my gosh,
I'm constantly attributing thoughts to him that he's not having.
Oh, right. Except for the hierarchy, which I'm pretty sure is real.
I think that is real.
Aang. Like, he'll pay attention to me, but he clearly, like, he doesn't ask me. I don't know. You can just... He knows.
Did you have any other pets? Did you have any pets?
There was a little while when we had the dog that had epilepsy. I forgot. We did also have another dog at the time, and it was a Jack Russell Terrier. Her name was Angel. She was amazing, and we totally loved her, but she started having fights with the dog who had epilepsy. Like, they just eventually started to not get along, and we ended up giving her away. And we gave her away to this family who apparently went boating, and they got her a tiny life jacket. So anyway, now my picture of Angel is just this tiny Jack Russell in a tiny life jacket. It's so cute.
Okay, well, at least she went to a loving home.
She did. A boating
with
home.
Tiny life jackets.
Tiny life jackets for puppies. And but no, that's it. I think we had one dog and one cat when I was growing up, and then when I was in high school, we had the 2 dogs and Gemma. And then we ended up getting rid of both of the dogs, and we got Ajax.
Okay.
Ajax was a Humane Society adoption. His name was Alex, and we hated it. We were like, that's boring. Let's call him Ajax.
Ajax is a great dog name.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love that name.
I do, too. I think most people associate it with the cleaning brand, but we were thinking more of the Greek hero of legend, of course. He was like a king in the Trojan Wars, regardless. So Ajax, he was a pretty good dog, and that's one of the ones that is now back at my house. Andrew took him down to Georgia and brought him back. And we've had him for probably 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah, because my mom didn't want to get the cat for a while. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm saying that, maybe it was just both my parents didn't want to get a cat. Mm-hmm. I don't know. They tried to pacify us by getting us a rabbit.
Oh, we never had any of those. No.
We did 2 different rodents.
We didn't do guinea pigs. We didn't do whatever those, anything like that.
We had this rabbit. I'll have to ask my mom how old he actually got. He might have been like 10 or something. But when they sell you a rabbit at the pet store, they will tell you a lot of things that are only true for a very small percentage of rabbits.
Oh, like what?
Like they can be litter trained.
Oh.
Which they can. But I think you need to be really, really good at training animals. And we weren't able to do that.
Right.
But I mean, basically, if we could have had like a room that was his room, we probably could have done it. But the way that my parents' house is,
Right.
it's kind of, it's very open. There was never any chance that he could have stayed in a single room. So anyway, we had a cage for him that was like a nice hutch. And he was fun. And most of the time he just ate and pooped, and we kind of observed him.
Yeah.
It's not like having a cat at all.
Right.
And then
we never had any of that.
like a year before he died, he had a stroke.
Oh.
And he was mostly fine. It didn't seem like he got
so
like
sad.
stupid or anything, but his head from that moment was always tilted slightly to the side.
No.
It,
Sad, cute.
It wasn't like a person where like part of their
Right.
face will die or something. Like the rabbit just had like a
a
muscle
tilt.
that made it so that his head was always tilted to the side. So like one ear would be straight up in the air,
Yeah.
and then the other one would be kind of hanging out at a diagonal.
Aw.
It was kind of cute. And then like he probably suffered another one, and then he eventually
right.
died. And then I also had a guinea pig
Mm-hmm.
for a little while because my girlfriend got a guinea pig, and her mother was like, sure, fine, you can get one. And then like 3 weeks later, she was like,
Never
I don't
mind.
want that thing in the house. So she gave it to me, and I named it Jamboree, which I thought was an awesome name for a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And she did not live very long either, and it
Yeah.
wasn't because I didn't take care of her. She
Right.
seemed very happy, but I think she also had a stroke.
Oh.
I don't know why rodents tend to have strokes.
I think at one point in high school, Adam got something like a little teddy something. It was
A mouse?
tiny thing. No, it wasn't a mouse. What is it? A gerbil? Was it really tiny?
Gerbils are
Hamster.
small. A hamster.
Teddy bear hamster.
Okay.
And it had tiny little ear tufts, and it was really cute. But I think my dad made him give it away. But we did have fish actually the entire time I was growing up. They were fun pets. Did you have fish?
Fish were the first thing that I had. My parents let me get when I was like 7 or 8. They
Right.
bought me like that starter aquarium and a bunch of tropical fish.
Okay.
And then basically I took care of it, and then eventually we got a bigger tank, and I kind of took care of it and maintained it until I went to college. And then
Nobody.
even though I was still half living at my parents' house, the other half I was living at my grandmother's
Right.
house, or I was on campus, my dad just kind of took that over.
Yeah.
So he took care of them until they actually I think they all got sick.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
contaminated
Something got
it, and they all died.
We had several fish for several years. We had a beta or two, and we had 2 angelfish named Charlie and Clarence. And then we had one of those goldfish that has the giant eyes that stick out to the side.
Big googly-eyed
Yes,
ones.
we had a big googly-eyed one. His name was Pigawoods. I know.
What?
His name was Pigawoods.
What?
Pigawoods. He was a pig and he was a woods. I think those are Pennsylvania German words. But
Woods?
woods. I'm sure that
Probably.
has to be Pennsylvania
It
German.
sounds like it.
Pennsylvania Dutch. Anyway, Pigawoods, and he was so fat, and he had googly eyes. And at one point, the thing I remember most about Pigawoods, I mean, he got an eye infection on one of his googly eyes to the point where it killed the eye, and then it just fell off. So
Oh,
he was
God.
just a lopsided fish. Like, yeah, it was just like kind of like a hole, not a hole,
Yeah.
but like just gone.
When you have fish
Nothing.
for a little while, like goldfish or tropical fish or
Right.
whatever, you see all kinds of weird things happen to them that make me kind of wish that they just died or they didn't live as long or something. Cause
We didn't hate Pigawoods without his eye.
It wasn't that, like, I had these tropical fish that were like tetras or something.
Yeah.
And things would happen to them. Like, there was one I remember that got this tumor that I could see the tumor growing.
Ew.
And I was like, that poor thing is going to die. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to just like kill it, but I also didn't want it to have a tumor. And then like there was another type of fish, I forget what they're called, but they have their mouth is like on the top of their head.
Okay.
They're a tropical fish.
Gotcha.
Same similar type.
We're going to call it a barracuda. Go on.
It's a barracuda. It's not that. I had several of those that would develop I want to call it an inner ear thing, but obviously it's not. Whatever their balance center is, these fish nothing would happen to them. And all of a sudden something was wrong with them and they couldn't stay straight anymore. They would do like loop-the-loops. They would do barrel rolls, and they seemingly had no control over it. They
lost their motor skills.
They were kind of rudderless. And that was really hard to watch because, like, I would name my fish and all of a sudden I'd be like, what's wrong with Rocco? And he's like spinning around in circles in a tailspin.
Yeah.
And
our beta
he's
ate
just
some
dying.
tetras. We had a beta fish. Those are the ones that are supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be alone, aren't they?
Whatever. Yeah. We learned that after we ate some tetras.
That's why they sell them in individual bowls.
I think they're mostly not supposed to be with other betas.
Betas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or smaller fish. The angelfish and him were fine.
Okay.
And pigawats, because they were all bigger than him and he just never really bothered him. But
if they're lower on the feeding chain.
Yeah, he'll just go after them. Right. The angelfish actually got pretty big. Like, they were beautiful, proud angelfish.
I feel like, didn't Clarissa Explains It All? Didn't she have a bunch of googly-eyed big fish?
I don't know.
Maybe. Come on, 90s kid.
I don't know it as well as you do.
You aren't all brushed up in your Melissa Joan Hart?
No, I guess not.
Okay.
I watched a lot of Sabrina. I could probably tell you everything about it.
Okay. The voice of the cat.
I can't remember. It's gone.
I don't know his name. I just know that he was on the Angry Beavers.
Can you tell me the name of the cat?
Salem.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I got that. Okay, who was her, like, who was the guy in the magic realm who she always was getting in trouble with? He would appear and, like, give her sentencing and stuff.
Drell?
Yeah? Who was it?
It was...
Okay, damn it.
Yeah, of course. It was Penn Jillette.
It is Penn Jillette.
Do you know... Donald Faison was also, like, a magical friend of hers at one point.
Really?
Yeah. He's totally on the show for a little while.
That was, like, when I didn't know who Donald Faison was,
yeah.
So...
Yeah,
I wouldn't have made that connection.
Let's see, who else? Well,
I really hope that people who are listening watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch before it was an animated show or whatever it is now.
Oh, yeah. I loved that show. I watched it, like, all the time.
I did
Probably
too.
Way more than
I remember my entire family, like, whenever night that was on was a night that we would watch TV.
Well, what was the weirdest thing is I would say, in general, my dad is the more conservative of my two parents, and my mom is the less conservative and or liberal one of them. And my mom did not want me watching Sabrina because it had to do with witchcraft, which I thought was absurd because it's just like fun teenage witchcraft. Like, it wasn't. And my dad thought it was fun and wholesome.
It is fun and wholesome.
I know. And yet my mom, who's like weirdly superstitious.
It was a lot of like after school special-ish
Right. Exactly.
things,
it totally was.
just wrapped up in magic.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just always thought that was really strange. My dad was like, "Oh, this is a fun show," and he would like not necessarily watch it with me, but if I was in, he would talk to me while I was watching it. And my mom was like, "That witchcraft show again," and I think she eventually got over it because she saw probably its wholesomeness. But funny. What was your favorite after-school show? Boy Meets World.
I did really like Boy Meets World. I think the one I spent the most time watching, and I also really liked because my whole family would watch it, was Home Improvement.
Oh yeah,
I think
classic.
Carter and I talked about that a really long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just love Home Improvement. If it's
Toomey
on
and Taylor?
If it's on right now and I turned on the TV, I would just watch it.
Seriously?
I totally would.
I don't think I would.
Like, there are certain 90s shows, if they're on, I will just watch them.
I will watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air anytime that comes on. And I am not kidding. I would watch that show.
That doesn't do it for me. Like,
and I could still recite the entire intro, which I am not going to do right now, but I could if I wanted to.
Okay, well, that leaves something for next week.
Maybe I'll be willing to perform.
Do you want to do the intro?
Nope.
Why not?
Because you do. I always do it wrong, too.
How would you do it wrong?
You always yell at me. Just do it.